So we're at the bottom of the Moor in Sheffield. Down one side of the Moor you've got Eyre Street. Well, here we've got Eyre Lane, and I don't know if Eyre Street got its name from that. Now, Eyre Street was bulldozed through after the Second World War to create a dual carriageway. I'll just show you the area a little bit, but I thought it'd be an interesting little look down Eyre Lane. Now, one of the great things about Sheffield was we got the city centre, but around the city centre it was surrounded by industry. And the worst thing that ever happened was decarbonising us. What we've actually done is we're achieving net zero, but what we've done is we've pushed our pollution out to the rest of the world, sent the manufacturing there. What we've also done is we've thrown people on the scrap heap from the 1980s onwards, people who were in skilled trades and their families after. Nobody cared about them. So now what's happening is, from 1959 Sheffield was a clean air zone, Sheffield city centre, and our industry was pretty clean. And what we've done is we're now probably producing abroad where there's probably 2 or 3 times the amount of pollution that what we were creating in our modern industries after the war. Just show you some of the side streets along here. That'll take you back up to the Moor there. Light box there. Nobody says that some of these businesses shouldn't have been modernised and cleaned up a bit more, but what's happening abroad where you're buying your goods from now? Now this is an interesting little niche shop here, I think. I think it's some sort of library. But these back streets were teeming with the industry back in the 1980s. You could park on some of these side streets at the back, but not anymore. We've got another one, Newton Lane. Now I don't know if that's come off the Newton weight measure or something. But it must have been so much more interesting before Eyre Street got put through as a dual carriageway. Little businesses, shops, people living around here. See, we're on Eyre Lane there. Taking you back up towards the Moor, you can get your bearings. I think that was down Matilda Street just there. But it's unrecognisable, and it's, as a Sheffield, it's soul destroying that we've had at the heart to our city. We never voted to have our city turn into a big university. Most people want satisfying work, to do a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. I don't think warehouses, importing goods from abroad, call centres, shopping malls are what most people want to work in. They want to produce something that's beneficial to humanity. We live in a totally commercialised society now. And I think things in the past were more greener at times. Like you had milk bottles which were washed out and reused. Now all the milk comes in plastic containers. Well, it's an interesting little bit of Sheffield still around here. But just imagine all the down the side of the moor on either side was all these crisscross streets. Your regulated type of societies don't like it. They want to control every bit of our lives. But we need to get back to producing in the UK. Even George Galloway from the Socialist Workers' Party says it. Nigel Farage says it. Our energy costs are too high. That's one of the main issues. And the other one is absolutely nonsense health and safety. I'm not talking about practical health and safety. I'm talking about the nonsense health and safety. I managed to work in the 1980s steel industry without an high-vis jacket on. May be appropriate when you're actually directing heavy goods vehicles, but I worked at Rotherham Steelworks for 4 or 5 years, where we had big shunting trains carrying molten metal. Never wore an high-vis, never heard of anybody getting in accidents, because you was careful, use your brain. So I was taking you up to Pinston Street just there. It really gives you an idea. So we've got the Red Lion pub just here. Now they do have a bit of a, what we call it, a debate in there every month. And I'll try and get the link for that. Dan organises that with other people. It's certainly an interesting backwater around here of old Sheffield.
What are you filming?
So a couple of girls asked me why we're filming down here, and we had a bit of a chat, and then what they've done is they've mentioned the link bridge. So if I zoom in on that, you can find out more information by stopping the screen. So I don't know if I carried on in exactly the same place, but if I hadn't spoken to the girls, I'd have never known about that sign. They said they come from Leicester and they've been studying at Sheffield, just about to finish. You can see quite a lot of it's been modernised up here. But it would have been so much more different before Eyre Street. Whether Eyre Street existed before, I don't know. I'm suspecting it was just created from Eyre Lane, but could be wrong. Another bit of wall art there. Look like flamingos to me. I just love this side of Sheffield. And now I think we're actually on to Furnivall Gate. So you can see that. That's just a quick tour up Eyre Lane in Sheffield.